What's up guys, and today I'm going to show you how to use this portfolio tracker I made. So what this is essentially helps you track your stocks, and it's got a lot of very useful insights on it. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So I've been working on this since last year, and I think this is an essential tool that I've made that can help you with your stock management. So I'm going to copy this sheet and use this as a template to show you how to use it. So up here you can put your name. Let's say your name is like Lily. Then what you're going to do is put in your cash invested to start, and then obviously we're going to start to put in stocks, and you're going to start to see the account value and account return reflect that. I've actually got the steps here which aren't in order, but essentially it doesn't really matter. You just need to update your shares, update your average price per share, and your cash invested when you buy shares. So let's say we're going to invest £100. So obviously it's going to say minus 100 because we've not got an account value yet, but that will update in time. So next what we're going to do is we're going to start to put in the stock that we want to buy. So let's say we want to buy let's think. McDonald's. Okay, let's say we want to buy the McDonald's stock. So if we want to buy McDonald's, what we do is we need to put in the exchange and the ticker in the exchange column here. Then what we need to do is put in just their ticker, and this will bring up all the data that is needed for McDonald's. Then in the company section we put the name of the company, which is McDonald's, and then we're going to put the industry. So the industry, make sure that you type this correctly. The sector first of all is going to be consumer discretionary, and then the next line is going to be restaurants, and it's going to make the restaurants text a bit smaller. Actually, I need to make this smaller as well. Okay, and they pay dividends quarterly. So if you don't know how often they pay dividends, you can check in the dividend section. They pay quarterly. Then what I like to do in this blank area is I like to put in the logo of the company. So we just get McDonald's, and then what we do is we just it doesn't really matter what logo you use as long as it's transparent, really, because it will look better obviously if it's transparent. I'm going to insert, and there we go. So then it's going to give up the data such as their market cap, how much they've changed in a day, which you can see is 37%, the live price, which is $268.49. The stock market's not open, so this would be the closing price. Then with the live price in pounds, so basically it converts the live price in dollars to pounds, because I'm based in the UK, so I would be buying in pounds, so this is helpful. And then it's also bringing up other statistics, like for example the dividend yield, which is identical to here, and also how much dividends they'll pay annually, which you can see here as well. It's also got the trading PE and forward PE, so there might be some variance here. This PE and forward PE is from Google Finance, so there might be a slight difference, but it should be around the same. So this just means how much the stock is trading based on its earnings. And then PEG and debt to equity don't show up here for some reason. I guess McDonald's doesn't have any data for that. PEG is not that important in my opinion, neither is debt to equity, but I do have them. I was actually thinking of whether I should change these columns to something else. I might keep the debt to equity one actually, but I don't really need PEG, but it's still there, obviously. The reason why it's in red is because I've set a rule in this column where anything over 3 goes in red, just to keep that in mind. And then we've got some data here like the price 1 year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, just to show how McDonald's has changed over the years. And then it will also give the percentage change of McDonald's in 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 15 year period based on this data and the current live price. So in a 10 year period, McDonald's has grown 161% in stock price, so 102.86 to the current price of $268 would reflect more than a doubling in price. And then we've also got compound annual growth rates as well. This is just the annualized growth rate of the stock price on average, based on the long-term return. So there you go. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start to buy the actual McDonald's stock. But obviously, since the stock market's not open, this is just going to be based, like, it's theoretical. So, for example, we can see here that we've got McDonald's price, but we need it in pounds because we've got £100. So what we would do is we need to figure out how many shares of McDonald's we can get with £100. To do that, we just have £100 and we divide it by McDonald's live price in pounds. And then here we can afford this many shares of McDonald's with pounds. If we copy all of that, it should amount to 100. But we're just going to copy the first four, actually the first two decimals here, and then we're just going to put, so we own this many shares. Once we do that, it's going to say we bought 99 pounds worth of McDonald's. Now, obviously a lot of data has now appeared after we've done that. I'll explain that shortly. But we also need to put our average price per share. Now, the average price per share is going to be basically identical to the live price. So I'm going to copy that, and then there's no return or gain yet because obviously stock market's closed and we just bought it, but this is how it should look. This will change when the stock market opens, and then we'll start to see obviously the live price change, and the average price per share will be the same, but the return will increase based on the live price. So if the live price increases compared to our average price per share, then obviously our return will be positive, and we'll start to see the gain in pounds here. And obviously it will show what the total value of our investments is as well, both in dollars and pounds. Because McDonald's pays dividends as well, it will show us based on how many shares we own how much dividends we'll get. So we'll get £209 in dividends, £2.09 in dividends annually if we have McDonald's share, and it's also reflected here as well in this column. So this will update based on the shares that we add. Also, it is worth pointing out that because there's tax in the UK, I've put a formula here so that it times it by 0.85 because it's a 15% withdrawing tax when you get dividends. So that's deducted from the US dividend before it's converted into pounds. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you everything that's been added since we've updated the shares owned and average price per share. So as you can see, McDonald's is 100% of our portfolio. We've got a negative account return right now because we've had deducted fees for buying McDonald's theoretically. So like, you might have to pay an exchange rate fee or a commission fee depending on what stock exchange you were on. But obviously if McDonald's price improves from here on out, the account return will go in green. But it should usually always start out in red when you buy a stock. So yeah. Then some other things have been updated. So we've got a monthly dividend, quarterly dividend. So this is just the annual dividend divided by 12 for the monthly, and quarterly is just divided by 4. And then we've got the day percent. It's just going to be the same as McDonald's. The year is going to be the same as McDonald's, so identical. But once we put in another stock, everything's going to balance out and average. So the compound annual growth rates are going to be similar to McDonald's because we've only got McDonald's stock, as you can see here. The P ratio is basically going to be McDonald's. I've actually made a mistake here, which I'm going to fix now, so we can get the forward PE to show up. Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay. For some reason I didn't have all the letters put in there, but we can see this is the average P ratio and forward PE of McDonald's now. So yeah, now this obviously is not showing up yet, but that's fine. It might show up eventually. Now we've got average 5-year percentages. Again, this is just going to be McDonald's because that's the only data that we've got in right now. And then we've got 100% of our stocks in terms of sector in consumer discretionary, because McDonald's is a consumer discretionary stock. And then average is just like the average of pretty much everything in these columns. That will be updated once you get more stocks. So obviously we've just bought McDonald's, but we need to buy another one so that we can start to see some more balance. So let's say we want to buy the Apple stock. I'm going to put Apple's ticker. Actually, before we even do that, we need to drag this down and then delete these two because we don't have any shares or average price of Apple yet. Okay, now Apple pay quarterly. They're a technology stock that operate in consumer electronics. And we're going to put the ticker, Apple, and I believe they're on the NASDAQ stock exchange. Now we're going to put in Apple's logo. So we do this with every pretty much stock, it's just a procedure. And then now we're going to put in how many shares of Apple that we own. So to get 100, sorry, I put that wrong. To get 100 shares of Apple, again, we do 100 divided by the pounds. So it's going to be 146.51. So we can get 0.68 shares of Apple. And then the average price is going to be the live price or whatever is set in your brokerage account. And then as you can see, no return. And then everything's going to update. We also need to drag this down. And you can see it's now 50-50. And we also need to update the cash invested as well to 200 because we've now invested £200. And we can see here total value will reflect the value of the stock that we bought. So both of them are near 100, but there might be some commission fees. Our dividends also updated, so because Apple pay a dividend, we get the Apple dividend now, and the average dividend yield has balanced out as well. So it's kind of a balance between Apple and McDonald's. Day percent has averaged based on McDonald's and Apple, and year percent has averaged based on McDonald's and Apple as well. And pretty much everything else, like the compound annual growth rates, will now balance based on McDonald's and Apple. And we now have two stocks. The average P ratio is now pretty much a balance. Same with the average full PE. And we've now got 50% in technology, 50% in consumer discretionary, and the average is just like the average of these columns, but there's no weighting based on like the portfolio percentages. So yeah, essentially, like, this is useful because you want your compound annual growth rates to be higher than the indexes, which will show up here, but for some reason they're not here. But usually it's like 10 to 12%. So essentially you want to have your compound annual growth rates higher than the S&P 500. And we've also got some data here, like how much the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 have moved in the past day as well. So because Apple pay a dividend, let's say you get a dividend of Apple that's worth, I don't know, so it's May, let's say you get a dividend of 12 pence. What will happen is should update in the dividend received column, which is here. So anytime you put in, like, for example, a number, it will update in your dividend received. So for some reason before it wasn't calculating that, which is a little bit weird, but we got it working now, I believe. And also the same will go for, I believe, the ratios as well. So let me just fix that. Okay, there we go. So yeah, as you can see, everything pretty much updates now, and works as it should. So yeah, and again, if you want to add more stocks, you can do so. Like, I don't know, let's say we want to invest 500 now. Well, actually, that might be a bit complicated, but you kind of get the gist, right? So that's kind of how you use this sheet. It can help you monitor your stocks and make sure that they're growing, and also your dividends. And yeah, if you want to see a more complete version, I've got mine here, all my stocks, and then this, I don't even need to touch it. Like, it will update everything I need to. All I do is I put in the dividends that I get paid, and then I update in the column,